Joining me now is former Speaker of the House and former Georgia Congressman Newt Gingrich, also a Fox News contributor. He is author of March to the Majority. Mr. Speaker, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for being here this morning. You heard President Biden there, Speaker, and do you think anybody really believes that Senate deal was what did he say, the most secure border deal in decades?
Well, look, I mean, the thing that is, frankly, difficult to deal with is that Joe Biden is just a complete, total liar. First of all, he just proved that he had the executive authority the day he came into office, and in fact, Trump had put in place a much stronger position than Biden did yesterday. So all this talk about, oh, he was waiting around. He's had this authority from day one. He deliberately did not use it. Millions of illegal immigrants have come in. The administration has basically waived asylum concerns for 375,000 people who are here illegally. They're now allowed to stay here. You go down this whole list. The Biden and his wing of the Democratic Party believe in open borders, believe in illegal immigration, want the largest possible number of people to come, have insisted that cities count the illegal immigrants as part of their population for the purpose of getting federal aid. I think would like to see the reapportionment under the Constitution count all the illegals, which would give the Democrats more seats in states in the blue states. But what he said yesterday was typically Biden. It is plain, flat, not true. And finally, look at the logic behind it. After we have another 1.5 million or 2 million people, we'll consider doing something. There's no serious effort by Biden to stop illegal immigration. There's just an effort to survive and get reelected.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, you know, it's really important to point out that there's all these carve-outs. I mean, you're telling me that unaccompanied children are okay? They could just come in anytime and for as many as they want, as if the drug cartels are not going to exploit that. I mean, I was there at the border so many times. I saw it up close and personal that young girls are getting handled, touched. I mean, it's disgusting what I actually was able to witness on their journey over here. These young 11-year-olds, and you're telling me that an unaccompanied child is fine to just come across, and that's not going to, this executive order doesn't apply to them, as if the drug cartels are not going to exploit that?
Look, I think the degree to which the illegal immigration open border policy has both facilitated bringing in illegal drugs, including fentanyl, which last year there were over 100,000 drug deaths in the United States, and has facilitated the exploitation of children sexually. I mean, people shouldn't kid themselves. You have 12, 13, 14-year-old boys and girls both being exploited sexually. When the cartels bring them in, they charge them a bill. And they have to work that bill off, and very often they work it off serving in houses of prostitution. So I think that this is a vicious, nasty thing. We should have closed borders. We should patrol them. We should have lots of legal immigration, but we should have zero illegal. And what Biden did yesterday was totally phony.
Well, it's all about the election. We know that. And look at these new Fox News power rankings polls that we've got. It shows Trump is leading Biden on most of the key issues, Newt, ahead of the November election. Voters think Trump will handle crime, foreign policy, the economy, the border better than Biden. But Biden leads Trump on abortion rights, and this is a good one. Look at this. He beats Trump on protecting democracy. That is really a head-scratcher there to me. Trump's campaign and the Republican National Committee, meanwhile, launched a new Swamp the Vote USA initiative. This is encouraging Republicans to, quote, use every appropriate tool to beat the Democrats, including early voting, mail-in ballots, absentee ballots. This is important, Speaker. And to hear Trump encouraging all of this is also important. Early voting, starts in September.
Look, I'm very, very happy that President Trump has embraced the idea that you have to win under the rules as they exist. And the fact is that early voting matters. Republicans, as a goal, should try to win the vote on the first day and the second day and every single day. I think the president has shown real leadership in trying to shift the entire culture of the Republican Party, which historically liked to vote on Election Day. But we learned in 2022, you can't give the Democrats the first 6 weeks of voting and then try to play catch up on Election Day. And I think what the president's doing, every Republican and every conservative should take note. We want to vote early. We want to vote in every system that's available. And we want to make sure that if there's a drop box or there's any other kind of ballot, that we are monitoring it. We're making sure that only legal votes count, and we're making sure that the system works. This is a huge undertaking to protect democracy from a Democratic Party which has routinely cheated and which will cheat again if it can.
Well, I mean, what about, proof of citizenship to vote? Would that materialize in increasing numbers of states? I mean, I don't understand this, adamant position that Merrick Garland has taken. He says we're vowing to fight voter ID. Why?
Well, because they don't want you to. It's pretty obvious. If you actually get to identify the voters, you shrink the potential voters to people who are legally voters.
Wow.
And they're counting on they're counting on voting illegal aliens. They're counting on voting people who aren't registered.
Yeah.
And in some places, they're counting on voting them 3 or 4 times.
Well, look, Hunter Biden's federal gun charge trial set to resume in about an hour, less than an hour, in Delaware. FBI Special Agent Erica Jensen is returning to the stand for cross-examination. She was assigned to the case last year to link Hunter's drug use to the time that he bought the firearm, using his book and bank records showing Hunter withdrew massive sums of cash. Prosecutors are introducing a federal firearm form. They did so yesterday, which asks if the gun buyer used illegal drugs. Hunter's form is marked no. His infamous laptop was also brought into evidence. Politico is reporting that Biden and his family were involved in brief discussions early in the term, in Biden's term, about not seeking re-election to ease the burden on his son. Speaker, I want you to give me your take on this. And also, here's John Ratcliffe with me on Sunday, connecting the dots of this laptop introduction as evidence. Watch this.
Well, Maria, you already pointed out the irony of 4 years after the Trump administration officially told you that Hunter Biden's laptop was not Russian disinformation, the Biden administration, through their Justice Department, now has to authenticate that laptop in a case against Joe Biden's son. The irony there is rich, but the most important thing is this, Maria. By authenticating that laptop and acknowledging that it's true, what are the consequences of that, right? Because what Alvin Bragg said and what the White House has now endorsed in saying that this was a legitimate conviction of Donald Trump was, Alvin Bragg said the crime here was that Donald Trump hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. So what about all the people that hid damaging information in the form of the laptop during the 2020 election?
Newt, I think John Ratcliffe makes a great point here, okay? Here we're talking about Trump. He just got convicted because apparently he wrote something in the legal books called legal expense, and they're saying that he was hiding information from the public. What about all these efforts to hide everything before elections? You had 51 intelligence officials signing their name to a letter that Anthony Blinken created. How come he's not getting charged? What about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden? I mean, he makes a really good point.
Look, I mean, what you know, and this goes back to what I said at the very beginning. Joe Biden's career is lies. He routinely lies. We don't know if Hunter gets off because he's in Delaware and the Bidens basically own Delaware. What we do know is that Joe Biden's entire career has had a long series of lies, and that the entire Hunter Biden laptop issue wasn't just a lie.
Right.
It was the methodical exploitation of intelligence officials by the current Secretary of State, who not only should not be in office because he's dangerous, as John McCain said, but he's the guy who organized the lie. It's astonishing, and historians will look back at the degree to which the Biden administration was founded on lies, sustained by lies, and is now trying to destroy its opponent in a way that violates the Constitution.
I mean, it truly is astounding. Real quick, before you go, do you want to say anything about this lead story in the Wall Street Journal today? And here's the headline. Behind closed doors, Biden shows signs of slipping. Participants in meetings said the 81-year-old president performed poorly at times. The White House said Biden is sharp, and his critics are playing partisan politics. Lead story in the Journal today.
I think every American looking at Ukraine, at Gaza, at Taiwan, and realizing that our foreign competitors are watching a president who's so weak, so confused, and so uncertain, this Biden makes the world dramatically more dangerous. And as a matter of survival, I think Americans have to replace him. I think this is way beyond politics.
Yeah.
It is frightening.
Do you think
to have a commander-in-chief
will he withdraw?
who is this out of touch?
Do you think he'll withdraw before the November election?
Of
Some
course
people
not.
think so.
Why would he?
Some people think he will.
Why would he withdraw?
Okay.
Look, he's got the White House, Air Force One, Marine One. What is he going to do if he withdraws?
Yeah, unless
he
he's
can't
forced to
bicycle
withdraw.
every day.
Unless he's forced to withdraw, and that's what's behind this story.
No, I think he'll get defeated. No, he will be defeated, but it'll be in the general election.
Okay.
I don't think the Democrats can stop him from being nominated.
Mr. Speaker, you're an incredible strategist as well. Add that to the resume. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, Newt.
Thank you.
All right, Newt Gingrich joining us.